So 2 more lessons involving trig. This first lesson is going to go over 2 concepts, one called the law of sines and the other called the area of a triangle. So we're going to start with area of a triangle first. The only difference is in the past we've learned area for a triangle is 1/2 base times height. This one's going to be using trig. So when we talk about area here, the area of a triangle is 1/2 the product of the lengths of 2 sides and the sine of their included angle. So you've got 3 possibilities here. You have 1/2 little b c sine A, 1/2 little a little c sine B, or 1/2 AB sine C. And you're only going to use one of them. So the nice part is you're given the information. You're always given everything. Okay? You're not going to have to be searching or finding anything. So when it says in the first one where it goes, find the area to the nearest tenth of triangle ABC if little a is 8, little b is 9, and angle C is 104. Well, if you have little a, little b, and angle C, you're using this guy right here. So the area is 1/2 AB sine C, and you're just going to plug everything in. So 1/2, little a is 8, little b is 9, and we have the sine of 104 degrees. And you go right to the calculator. So you're going to do 0.5 times 8 times 9 times the sine of 104, and you get 34.9, and it's centimeters squared because it's area, so you have to square the units. Now for the second one, if you have angle A, little b, and little c, that's going to give you scenario one, the first one. So you have 1/2 little b, little c sine A. And again, you're just subbing everything in. So it's 1/2 18 times 22, and the sine of 31. And that, when you type it all in, should be about 102.0 meters squared. All right, so the nice part is it has to say find the area, so you'll definitely know the difference between what we're about to go over and this type of question. All right, so the second part to this is something called law of sines. So in triangle ABC, if the sides with lengths little a, little b, and little c are opposite angles, big A, big B, and big C, then the formula for the law of sines is the sine of A over little a, sine of big B over little b, and the sine of big C over little c. And you're going to use the law of sine to solve a triangle if any one of the following conditions is true. So you have the measures of 2 angles and the angle side, so either angle, side, scenario, or ASA. The measures of 2 sides and the angle opposite, so that's SSA, which is not one we have ever used, but you're not actually using it. It's just what information is given to you. So using the given measurements to find all of the unknown side lengths and angles, that's called solving the triangle, which we did in the previous lesson when we were talking about the trig and it was asking us to solve the triangle. We were finding all the missing pieces, but what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be using the law of sine to do that. All right, so first things first, it asks you to solve. So what I'm going to do is set up a chart. So I have angle A, little a, angle B, little b, angle C, and little c. And let's fill in what we know. So angle A, don't know, little a, don't know. Angle B, 45, little b, don't know. Angle C is 80, little c is 3. So you're always given 3 items and you have to find 3 items. So what we have to do is we have to say, all right, I got to find what's missing. So I'm only going to use the law of sine though. I know there's other ways, but for right now, let's just focus on practicing with the law of sine. So the law of sine from the previous page, it was 3 ratios. So if we look at the information given, I've got nothing for A, which means I'm going to scratch that whole ratio. So I'm going to use sine of big B over little b equals sine of big C over little c. And I'm going to plug in what I have. So I have the sine of 45 over little b equals the sine of 80 over 3. And now I'm going to solve for b. So I'm going to cross multiply. 3 times sine 45, and then I'm going to divide. So what I would recommend is when you are typing this in the calculator, put parentheses around that numerator and find that first before you even venture into dividing. But you should get about 2.2 when you're all done for that. Okay, so little b comes out to being 2.2. So now moving forward, again, in order to find anything dealing with A, we have to know one of them. So we sort of hit a wall here. So what we have to do is we have to use the idea that we know that angle A, angle B, and angle C add up to 180. So angle A we don't know, B is 45, and C is 80. And so that's going to get us 55 degrees for angle A. There's no other way you can solve this because it's not a right triangle. So you have to use that idea. And now what I'm going to use is I'm going to use law of sine again. But this time I'm going to use A on one side. And then because C was given to me, I'm going to use the C ones instead of the B, just in case I made a mistake in finding little b. So I'm going to use C. So now I have the sine of 55 over little a equals the sine of 80 over 3. And it's the same thing that we just did before. So you're going to cross multiply, and then you're going to divide. Same exact thing that we did. Make sure, again, the numerator gets parentheses. But you should be getting in the ballpark of about 2.5 for that little a value. So you're given 3 items, and you need to find 3 items. All right, so we got one more here. So what I would suggest, I'm just going to start making my chart. You guys maybe go ahead, try the problem, and then come back and see if you're getting what I'm getting. So P, Q, and N are our letters. P is 42, Q is 65, little n is 5. Okay, so that's what's given. And then we look and we say, okay, well, I don't have double of anything, so I sort of hit a wall. So what I got to find is n first. So I know that P plus Q plus n equals 180. So 42 plus 65 plus angle n equals 180. So angle n is going to come out to 73, because in order to use the law of sine, you have to have a double of one of the letters. So now I do. So now I know that I have the sine of n over little n, which is going to be part of my ratios and proportions. So now I'm going to get p first. So I have the sine of p over little p. Well, sine of n is sine of 73 over 5 equals the sine of 42 over little p. And I'm going to repeat what we did above in the previous example. So I'm cross multiplying. I'm going to multiply those 2 out before I even divide by sine of 73. But little p should come out to being about 3.5. Okay, and then I'm just going to repeat the exact same process, but for Q. So sine n over little n, sine Q over little q. So again, practice this on your own to make sure that you can actually type it into the calculator yourself, because you're going to be needing to. Use parentheses. And what you're going to get, final answer is that Q should be about 4.7. Okay, so hopefully on your own you were able to definitely solve that one out. Why does it say 9.1? Oh, I gotta do it.